are tired of hearing y'all cry and complain about this show. If it was going to happen, it would have happened already. And really, low-key, y'all done messed up y'all chances with this podcast. So you might as well give it up delicious. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Kinky, and today we're going to be talking about the Ned'S Declassified cast and why they just can't let this show go. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. These cute sneaker earrings have just been added to the website, and you can find them in various colors. Make sure you check that out. The link is down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Y'all, I wanted to talk about this whole situation because it's going crazy on TikTok right now. The main thing that is really sparking a lot of controversy, Lindsay Shaw, who played Mose on Ned'S Declassified, is really pressed about the fact that they are not getting a reboot for this show.
I just don't understand how Spider-Man can be remade 437,896 times and Ned'S Declassified can't even get reboot once. Not even reboot once for a crappy TV movie. Just let us have a crappy TV movie.
And she even had the nerve to compare Ned'S Declassified to Spider-Man getting many different spin-offs and movies or whatever. The audacity, okay? First, let's rewind this all the way back. Ned'S Declassified was one of those TV shows that would come on, and it wasn't the most popular show. It wasn't Drake and Josh. It wasn't The Amanda Show. It wasn't iCarly. It wasn't Zoe 101. It wasn't one of those big shows on Nickelodeon that, oh, I gotta stop everything to watch this show. It was more of a filler show. It was very mid-tier at best. I feel like a lot of people, even when I would bring up this show, probably wouldn't even know what I was talking about because it just wasn't that prominent. But I would be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a fan of the show. I was one of those people that likes obscure shows. The premise of the show was Ned was a middle school student and he was giving you tips on how to survive middle school, right? And it just came with this little quirky humor. You know, Ned and his friends were nerds. Relatable. So I really liked it, right? But I'm one of the few, okay? I'm one of the few that actually watched the show. Y'all know we are in a reboot era. And I think it's because my generation, millennials, just are obsessed with nostalgia. And so people are trying to capitalize off of us loving past shows or whatever. And I feel like the cast of Ned'S Declassified, you know, want a piece of that. They wanted the show to be rebooted. Just to rewind a little bit, before they really started pushing for this, Lindsay Shaw, who plays Mose on the show, she got into a little controversy during the pandemic when she mocked this video of black guys dancing.
Hey, are we okay? What the fuck is this? I see.
And she got a lot of backlash after that. Most people were saying that her response to the video was just completely racially insensitive, and it was during a very racially sensitive time. There were riots happening left and right. So she really chose the wrong time to mock black people. That backlash was strong. And it was so bad that she had to come back and do a whole apology video.
I did not mean anything in any kind of way. I am learning every day, as I think everybody is. And this kind of hate just needs to evaporate from the planet, no matter who it's directed towards. Crocodile tears? No, dude. Like, this is like my soul out there. If you know anything about what I stand for or what I believe in, you know that it's not this. I am sorry you were offended.
And so already, that kind of started things off on a bad note on Ned'S Declassified as a whole. Regardless of it just being Lindsay who did that, it kind of shed the light on the other two actors. I can't think of their name, Ned and Cookie. I'm going to call them by their, since they want to reboot the show so bad, I'm going to call them by their characters' names. Ned and Cookie even associating with her kind of was bad press, was cast them in a bad light as well. But yet and still, they decided to push for this reboot. They did all these TikToks, you know, pretty much saying like, why is Zoe 101 getting a reboot and our show not getting a reboot?
In 5, 6, 7, 8, I am ready to be a hater.
Which left a lot of people scratching their head like, well, that's because Zoe 101 was actually popular. We barely remembered Ned'S Declassified. All the begging wasn't working, so then they decided to do a podcast begging. And the podcast could have been a good idea if they would have stuck to the original premise instead of like a school survival guide, an adult survival guide, maybe giving tips on, you know, how to do your taxes, or, you know what I'm saying, like talking about adulting, and different things like that. Maybe have different guests from the show or different Nickelodeon guests. And I think they still did that, but where they went terribly wrong is talking about their sexcapades from the show. Mind you, all of them were minors, all of them were middle school age. Lindsay constantly wants to tell us about how she pretty much ran through all of the cast, how she was doing drugs, and it's very uncomfortable to listen to because, once again, we're talking about middle school age children. I don't want to hear that. Okay, I don't want to hear that anyway, but especially you doing that at such a young age, y'all were running wild. And anytime she would bring it up, Ned and Cookie would always look very uncomfortable with it. And even the guests that would be sitting there while she would do that, it was just like word vomit for her. She couldn't help herself. She just had to do it. So then the popular documentary Quiet on the Set came out. In case y'all don't know, it was a documentary about Nickelodeon and how a lot of the kids were essayed, taken advantage of, and in particular Drake Bell, who was a surprise to everyone to see that he experienced being touched by one of the adults that was supposed to be in charge of him. I'm telling you, I watched Quiet on the Set. It's a horrifying thing to know that the shows that entertained me back then, what those kids had to go through in order for me to be entertained by it. To know that there were like foot fetishes infused into the storylines of the show, and just how sinister the adults were that were supposed to be managing these children. This is a serious topic. That's not something you joke around about. That's not something you play around about, okay? And even watching it made me almost not even want to watch any of the older shows. We only heard a few stories. Imagine like the main stars had to go through, especially someone like Amanda Bynes, and seeing how her life just took a downward spiral. I said all that to say, during that time when Drake Bell was revealed to be one of the children that were touched, Ned'S Declassified, or Ned and Mose and Cookie, thought it would be funny to get on live and joke around about it.
Daniel, we told you never to speak about that. Get back in your hole, Daniel, and give me your holes. Sorry, we shouldn't joke about this. We really shouldn't.
This is awful. Why are we doing this?
Because this is about us. Listen, our set was not like that. And no, it's fucking awful. The Drake Bell shit is that's crazy to hear. That is fucked, man. And that never came out, which is really wild. Oh, so y'all were in on it. Oh, God.
Damn.
Wow. I'm not talking about this anymore. Not talking about this anymore.
No.
Guys, we can't joke like this. Jesus. Guys, we're sometimes humor helps us move through things, you know?
100%.
And once again, nothing good has come from this podcast. Nothing positive, nothing is, and even the TikToks that they do talking about, how come we don't get a reboot? How come everybody gets a reboot but us? Even that's negative. And then even with the recent controversy of the video I showed y'all in the beginning, nothing but bad press has come from them. And so it didn't surprise me when they recently put out a video saying that their podcast has been dropped from the network that they were once a part of.
Ned's Pod and Podco are now parting ways. We wish them well. We're grateful for the ride we've had with them. Oh, yeah. We are now under new management, which is ourselves. Yeah.
Here are my thoughts. You ruined it for everybody. If y'all were gonna get a reboot, y'all pretty much shot that idea down and keep beating a dead horse for dear life. Nobody even wants to watch y'all in a revival of the show. Not many people did to begin with. I feel like if y'all were gonna do a podcast, you should have followed in the footsteps of Wizards of Waverly Place. So I didn't watch the show, but the cast members from that show that created the podcast, they reviewed old episodes of the show. People love nostalgia. We want to remember, you know, those old episodes. We want reminders. We want to like, oh yeah, I remember that. And like I said, maybe have guests from the show. The cast from This Is Us, they recently created a podcast where they have guests on, you know, cast members from the show, and it's like a nostalgic thing. Yeah, this could have been a jumping off point for you to get the reboot, because look, now Wizards of Waverly Place has their reboot, and the podcast didn't sour the viewers on them getting a reboot. If anything, it encouraged the fans to want to see one. You didn't do anything for the Ned'S fans but give them the ick. We don't want to see nothing else from y'all. And honestly, it just gives desperate. Every time y'all get online begging for a reboot, it just looks like y'all can't get any other acting job. Can y'all at least play a mother or a father or a big brother on another Nickelodeon show at the very least? Like, are y'all not getting callbacks? It just reeks of desperation, and it's not making people want to like sign a petition in order to bring the show back. If anything, sign a petition to take this podcast off the air. We tired of hearing it every 2 seconds. Every time I get on TikTok, it's a video of y'all doing a TikTok dance about why can't we have a reboot? It's not happening. Give it up. Delicious. So anyways, you guys, that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk about it because I kept seeing it on TikTok and I thought it would be fun to talk about. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Did y'all watch Ned'S Declassified growing up, or am I the only one? I would love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.